YouTube friends, here's another Scrappy Sunday block brought to you by Black Cat Quilts. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to call it a toad in a hole. If you've ever enjoyed an egg and toast, this block will remind you of that, hopefully. We're going to start off by making some 2-patch squares, okay? So these are going to be these little 2-piece units. We've made some already, a lot on this channel. I love them. They're so versatile. And here you can see I'm going ahead and using the same fabric I've been using for a lot of these blocks. You don't have to. You can swap out any of these for any other block. You could even add other blocks in the middle. You can work it out however you need it to work. So I'm starting my center with a 4.5-inch square, and all of my surrounding blocks are 2.5 inch. So if you're trying to use up some old jelly rolls or anything like that, this is perfect. And like I said, you could even make this center 4.5-inch block out of those strips. You can make it out of extra squares. You could cut down a charm pack, cut up a little yardage to give it some kind of uniformity, whatever makes you happy. So we're going to start off by making, if my math is correct, 6 2-piece units. I'm going to make a bunch of them because, like I said, I'm really trying to use up this fabric. And this has been a great way to do it. Even just making all these separate Scrappy blocks like a sampler pattern, I'm eventually going to put them all together somehow. And when we get to that point, I'm going to show you how to take different size finished blocks and make them go together. Sounds crazy, I know, but we're going to be here for it. So let's go ahead and start by making all these 2 patches. Now, if you were making just one block, you can go ahead and stop there. But if you are going to make multiples, you can go ahead and set yourself up to chain piece a bunch. Like if you have a bunch of scraps and like a solid color you want to use up, or just honestly a lot of scraps in general, if you're trying to conquer Mount Scrapmore, perfect way to do it is just make a bunch of little 2-piece units when you can, and you can turn them into so many other blocks. Alright, we're going to do a little speedy uppy bit. I'm going to try and get all of these pairs knocked out real quick. I won't make you wait too long. Alright, speedy uppy bit is all done. So we're going to start getting this block together. Now, here's where it takes a little bit of planning, because we are going to be sewing these together, so there's going to be some overlap. Okay. So very similar to when we did the shadow block, you're going to want to lay out some of your pieces first. Okay. So because I have extra, I get to play around with this a little bit more. So for example, this top part is going to have to be sewn together for it to fit. That also means a bottom piece is going to have to be sewn together to make it fit. So So I'll need 2 of those for the bottom, and then 1 each on the sides. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch. You can use a scant quarter if you're comfortable with it. You already know by my style, if you've seen any of my videos, we're about getting it done and finished and enjoyed rather than perfection. So try for that 1/4 inch. This is a great way to practice. And I know, the ironing people are going to come after me. You didn't iron your pieces. I sure did not. I did finger press them. They will be all right. Also, don't tell anyone, I also don't trim between stages all the time either. I've ran my own experiments, and with how I sew, how I operate, how my quilts end up, I honestly couldn't tell a difference in it. So that one stopped with that at the bottom, so we're going to trim these. So on some projects, I take a little more care. I'm currently working on a surprise baby blanket, which I'll be talking about in my February sew-in chat a little bit, without spoilers. And that one I've ironed way more than I normally want to. I also don't press my seams open. Some patterns you need to, when you're doing any of my scrap blocks, that is up to you. You can do whatever you need to get it done. If pressing open feels like it's going to take you 3 years to do, don't do it. Press to one side. Try and keep it uniform so they nest to reduce a little bit of seams, but at the end of the day, get that quilt done. Now, a lot of quilters you'll see use thread bunnies as well. The little pieces of fabric that they put in to mine their needle between things, saves a little thread and all that. I don't use a thread bunny per se. I just make extra blocks out of it. So you will always see me attaching extra pieces every chance I get, even if that's for some of my scrap quilting. Like, I'll always be putting extra blocks together. Like that one. That one will be for the next one, because of course I'm not going to stop at one, because one of these days you guys won't have to look at this fabric anymore, and neither will I. So, alright, and now you can kind of see already how this is about to come together. Real quick, real easy. No fancy stars. You don't need any special equipment, no rulers, no anything cool. If you have a stripology ruler, you could definitely strip cut this and chain piece and make an actual quilt out of these patterns, but the joy of it is you don't have to. said, I know I need more of these together, so I'm just going to go ahead and assemble some blocks as I go. And that'll be for the next one already. And again, for not ironing or trimming, our points are pretty close. So, like I said, don't let somebody stop you from creating if that's too overwhelming. Like Bob Ross, sometimes you'll have happy little accidents, sometimes it'll line up perfect, other times it won't. That's okay. And if you can't see it on a galloping horse, it's not a mistake. Now, if you can't, well, maybe you might want to rip that one out, but or don't. Adds character. Alright. And there again. Got some points that are pretty on point. Stop section turned out great. See? And once you iron it, once you quilt it, it's gonna shift a little anyway. I'll be okay, I promise. See, even that when I stretch it out, those points that looked off to begin with. So once I iron this final block, you'd be surprised how on point it is. So then you get the full block, make sure. And there you go. Black Cat Quilt Studios gives you a toad in a hole. So I'm going to finish up the rest of these. You guys are going to get a little extra speedy uppy part if you want to stick around. I appreciate it. And when we're done, I'm going to lay out, I think, a bunch of these scrap blocks that I've made so far. So you can see the progress of how many scraps we've really gotten rid of so far in these couple weeks. All right. I hope to catch you next week. Thanks again for being here with me. And stick around for the speedy uppy bit. If not, I'll see you next time. Alright, thank you so much for sticking around this long. If you did, make sure you hit that like button so I know that you're here till the end and you enjoy these weird little speedy up montage things. We'll see. So I didn't have quite as many cut up pieces as I thought. I was able to make 3 of these blocks, which I think turned out great. Here we have last week's where we have the little shadow block. As you can see, it's a little bit different. It's kind of a half of what we just did instead of the full go around. And I have quite a few of those. None of these have been ironed because I haven't done that yet. That will be coming up soon. Let me know if you want to see a short of my ironing. I don't think it's exciting, but you might. It's a bunch of those. We have probably my favorite so far, the fractured 4-patch. And we have quite a few of those. And that's what I've made so far out of this fabric, and that is from 2 fat quarters. This is just scrap remnant, so I don't know. There was way too much of that I picked up in a lot of other stuff. So, I don't know, probably 1/8 of a yard if I had to guess. And this blue is actually cut off from a sheet that I used as backing on another quilt. So, here we go. We have quite a few pieces here, and I'm pretty excited to see how we're going to put this together. And you already know it's going to be scrappy when we do. I'll catch you next week. Bye, YouTube friends.